Hey, happy Father's Day, everybody. Today, some fathers get to sleep in. Some fathers get breakfast in bed. This father neglected the lawn for way too long, so I get to mow it. I don't think I'm gonna mow the lawn like I usually do. You see, my son has a little Power Wheels four-wheeler that he likes to ride around on, so I'm gonna make him a track. I don't know if it's gonna turn out, but I'd love to find out. Let's check it out. So the grass didn't turn out as I was hoping for. I put it on the highest setting. My whole goal was to make him a track, and the way I was going to do this is I put the blade on the tallest setting and I was going to go back over it on the lowest setting just to give him a track, but the grass is a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. But that was a letdown. But anyways, let's get into I guess a sort of a review. It's about my lenses, what I have, what I use, and when I use what. But before we get into that, let's get to know these lenses. So, these are all of my go-to lenses. These three right here are the ones that I use for taking pictures. We have the Tamron 24-135, the Quantaray, or Quantrary, depends on how you want to pronounce it, 35-80mm, and the Yongnuo 50mm. For videos, I use the kit lens that came with my camera. It's a Canon 18-55mm. If I feel that I need a wider shot than that, I attach my Vivitar wide-angle lens converter, and I'm good to go. Now, the reason why I don't use my kit lens for photography, but just don't get rid of it, is quite simple. For starters, it's not a bad lens. The image quality is actually quite nice. But I can achieve a greater focal range and a better depth of field with the other three lenses. Also, when compared to the other three, the kit lens is actually better suited for video. And now, don't get me wrong. The other three lenses make for killer B-roll, but for main shooting, especially if I have a speaking part such as I do now, the kit lens has a very quiet autofocus where the other three, not so much. It's a little loud. An example is the clip that I just have is the Tamron 24-135. I'll show it again right here. So the grass didn't turn out as I was hoping for. You hear that mechanical noise as I'm talking? That's what I'm talking about. On this video right here, I thought maybe I was being too pessimistic on how much the microphone is going to pick up that autofocus noise, but it actually picked it up quite a bit, and I decided to keep this in the video instead of reshooting it just to use as an example, so you can hear how loud that autofocus can be. When it comes to photography though, these lenses are actually pretty fantastic, and they're actually relatively cheap. Now, I want to show you some sample pictures that I took using all three of these lenses right here. I didn't use the kit lens because I'm mostly talking about these ones right here for photography and the kit lens for video. So if I got some sample pictures using the kit lens for, well, pictures, it wouldn't make much sense with the video, but if you guys want to see that at some point to see what you can do with the kit lens, how far you can actually push it, because like I said, it's a great lens. If you buy a camera and it comes with this kit lens, you don't need to go out and buy another lens right away. This will get the job done. It's a fantastic lens. But for now, we're talking about these three. And so for the pictures, what I did is I set up a guitar kind of in the background and put a microphone on a mic stand, put it closer to the foreground. Took a few pictures with each of them, different focal ranges, and focusing either on the microphone or the guitar so you can see how sharp the focus is and get a sense of the depth of field that you get from each of these lenses as well. So let's just go ahead and get right into these pictures. In this first picture, I'm using the 50mm. When I shift focus from the guitar to the microphone, you can see that it has a wonderful depth of field, giving you that beautiful bokeh. This is a great all-around lens, but I use it mainly for portraits. And because of its wide 1.8 aperture, it's fantastic in low light, so I love using this for night shots as well. This next one is with my 35-80mm. I like to use this one if I'm not too far away from the subject. I can keep a wide 35mm focal range, or I can go to 80mm if I need a little bit of zoom. But as you can see here, whether I'm zoomed in all the way or I keep it wide, the focus is great and even zoomed in at 80 millimeters with an aperture of 5.6, I can still get that nice creamy bokeh. And finally, here's my 24 to 135. This allows me to go a little wider than the previous lens because I can pull all the way back to 24 millimeters instead of only being limited to 35 millimeters. But it also gives a decent zoom as well. I can go all the way to 135 millimeters, which isn't like a super zoom or anything like that, but it's still great. And because of the focal range, this is the lens that I use most of the time. It's not super heavy, but it's just the heaviest lens that I have. So if I'm out for a full day of shooting, I get kind of tired sometimes. It happens. And so if I don't need to zoom in all of the way with him, then I'll just switch it out for this guy, the 35 to 80 millimeter. So this video was actually a little bit longer than I expected it to be. It took me a week to shoot it. Life happens, I got busy. I actually started this video last week, did a little bit more a few days later, and then finally we're here to today. So thank you for sticking with it. That's why the change of clothes. I'm not high maintenance. I don't need to change between every shot. It just took me a week to finish it. Sorry. But those are the lenses that I use constantly. I'm always using all 4 of these lenses, whether it's video or pictures. Now, I know this isn't a completely in-depth review of each individual lens or anything like that, but I hope it helped give kind of an idea on when to use these lenses. Now, everybody has a different reason for using a certain lens. I understand that. These are mine. These are what I do. So feel free, leave me a comment. Let me know what lenses you use, on why you use them, and when you use them. And if you would like a more in-depth review on all of these lenses, or any one in particular, let me know. I'd be more than happy to make that video. And if you have anything to add to this, please feel free. That's why we're here. If there's any excuse to create, do it. So I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna enjoy my weekend because after all, it's almost Monday. So you gotta make the most of it, right? Cheers. Okay, maybe I lied. I'm not done quite yet. I talked about the other lenses and gave examples of the pictures, told you why I use the kit lens for video, but I want to give a little more of an example than what I did. I showed you that clip, and we're going to pretend like that didn't happen. I'll show you why this is the best one that I have for video. First of all, look at the field of view that I have in this. I have some vignetting here and here, but if I zoom in just a little bit, I can get rid of that if I wanted to, and I still have a little bit of, but nothing distracting, and I still have a decent field of view. I like to have it pulled back even though I do have that nice and wide. I like those shots. I think it looks good for video. That's my personal preference. This is a very subjective art form, and that's just what I enjoy. It's not for everybody, but if I take this off, because I have the wide angle converter on, then this is what it looks like. This is the standard look of this 18 to 55 millimeter lens. And it's pulled all the way back to 18 millimeters right now. So this is as wide of a view as it gets. Yeah, pulled back all the way. I had to double check. And also, I have face tracking on, so the autofocus focuses right on my face and it stays with me no matter where I'm moving in here. So as I move forward and back, it continues to focus on this, and you can't hear that focus ring, even though it is constantly moving and keeping my face in focus. So I'll be quiet for a second if I can, and let's listen. Constantly working, right? Now, let's put on the 50 millimeter lens, and let's see what that one looks like. Now, this is the 50 millimeter lens. I didn't move the tripod. I'm sitting in the same spot. I'm actually sitting back further than I was before. And this is the field of view. You get just my head, not even my whole head, it's cut off. But also, face tracking, yep, it's still on, it's still working. And this is what it sounds like when it's tracking focus. There's definitely a little bit of noise there. I don't think this is the loudest autofocus one that I have, but it's definitely enough noise that I don't want it in my videos. Unless I have the tripod sitting halfway across the room, it's unnecessary. I don't think it looks good. Maybe if I tilted my head, we can get it all the way in. So let's check out the 24 to 135. Okay, now, I think this almost goes without saying. I have it zoomed out as far as it's gonna go. There's no point in zooming in. But also, face tracking is working right now. And so this is what this one sounds like when it's tracking focus. You know, after listening to it now, this might be the loudest focus that I have. I was pretty sure it was, but I don't know. I'm not sure if that was louder than the 50mm or not. I'll have to throw on some headphones and watch these videos and find out, but either way, it's still too loud. But this is the 24 to 135. So let's go ahead and check out the 35 to 80. I don't remember the autofocus on that being extremely loud, but still louder than I like. So let's find out what that one sounds like. Now this is the Quantaray 35 to 80mm lens, and let's see what this autofocus sounds like. Okay, there's definitely still a little bit of noise there. I was watching the lens, I wasn't watching my screen, so I don't know how well it was tracking focus on my face, but just looking at the focus ring as it moved, it didn't seem like it focused as fast as the other ones either, which is a good thing. I use manual focus a lot when I'm shooting because I don't want a slow or inaccurate focus trying to do it for me. So maybe that's one good thing to know about this lens. But the other thing is, this one definitely took some getting used to for me because, well, you know what? I'm gonna throw my kit lens back on. Let me show you why real quick. Okay, now we have my kit lens back on, and I didn't put on the wide angle converter because the video's almost over. We don't need that. But so, the reason why I said that this one took a little bit of getting used to was because of this. Now, that's normal. It's not an internal zoom, it's an external one. And so, we see a lot of lenses that do that, right? The weird part about this is that this one is zoomed in all the way right now. Now it's zoomed out. This is your widest focal range. That's your tightest focal range. And so I couldn't figure out why everything was looking so close, and I thought I broke the lens or did something when I was working backwards, but that's just how it's made. But it's weird, man. It's not like a deal breaker where I'm just gonna say I'm never buying one of these lenses again. Nothing like that by any means. I don't want to make it sound like that, that's what I'm saying. It's just weird. So if you buy one of those, be prepared to think backwards when you're using these lenses. Especially if you see a shot and you're like, oh, I need to get that over there, but I need to zoom in. Remember that that's how it works. It's odd. But anyways, that's my video. I'm finally done. I swear I'm not coming back again until the next video. And so, as always, keep creating. Bye-bye.